Okay, sorry about that. Let's call this, where are we? Work session to order. It's May 7th at 4:05. All right, we're here to discuss the May 10th board meeting packet. So we will start with work session meeting minutes from April 23rd. Does somebody have anything that they noticed there?
I haven't had a chance to look.
Oh, apparently I muted Mitch. Or he muted himself. Let's see, I think I had something on just the, I didn't have anything on April 23rd. Nobody else? Okay.
No.
All right.
I don't think we took roll call yet, Ian.
We don't usually, it's just a volunteer thing. I mean, there's no roll call on there.
Oh.
I shouldn't
Well,
say
we have it
volunteer.
listed in the minutes. In the last work session, we have it listed in the minutes as roll call. That's why I've asked.
Oh. Well, it's not on the agenda. Just call to order. Sorry.
Yeah, it should be called attendance, actually, I guess, if you really, it's a good point, because it
Okay.
isn't roll call. That's not what actually happens.
So I guess we should change that. Okay.
Good catch, yeah.
Okay. So just attendance record? Maybe
Yeah,
Josh?
just attendance.
Attendance?
Just
Okay.
attendance. Yeah, just
All right.
attendance. I think that's what it was.
Okay. On the April 26th meeting minutes, I just had a couple in regard to motions, I think. I guess the first thing I had was code enforcement demolitions. You had indicated, Josh, that we skipped until more information can be provided, but I thought we just, we didn't need it to be, we didn't discuss it because there was actually, it was budgeted under professional services. So we didn't really skip it, but we didn't need to address it.
Right.
I don't know what everybody's thoughts are there, but
Yeah.
I think that's right, Anne. That's right. It was budgeted, so I don't think we needed yeah, we didn't. I don't think we were being asked to approve the expenditure, and we didn't have to do an allocation. But that's a
right,
good
we had
question.
thought, yeah, originally Mitch had, had talked about putting money in there, but then after conversation with Chief, we found out that there was already some budgeted in, and I think Bill, you discussed that as well.
It was where I asked if going forward we could have the allocations baked into the agenda, so we knew we could get the bill paid or the quote submitted or whatever, so that the money was already lined up.
Okay. But anyways, I just thought a little bit variance there on the,
Yep.
And I don't know if Josh, I think he hit mute because he's got people at the window, but I don't know if you have any comments, Josh, but I just unmuted you in case you wanted to.
Yeah, sorry, that was on the
Code enforcement demolition, yeah. We didn't really skip it. We just indicated it wasn't needed because it was budgeted under professional services under the police department, so. And then I had under resolution 2021-10, I had that Mr. Cummings supported a motion by Mr. Spencer. So Mr. You had Westerbar, so that just needs to be changed, I believe. Bill, I know you usually keep track of those as well. Do you concur?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I had.
Okay, so
Which one was that for, Ann?
resolution 2021-10,
And you had,
Mr. Cummings supported a motion by Mr. Spencer. And then under resolution 2021-13, I had that Mr. Cummings supported a motion by Mr. Spencer there. Bill, is that what you had?
Which one?
Resolution 2021-13.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that needs to be changed then. So it should be Mr. Cummings supported a motion by Mr. Spencer.
Right, got it.
And I think there was, and then the only other thing I saw was, or thought was, on the last page under work session, meeting time change board protocol. I thought the motion was to change to Friday at 4 p.m. or a time to be determined.
That's correct.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Right?
All right, so we did identify 4, but then we also added or a time to be determined. So that if we had to change it later, it could be changed without having to go back to the protocol. Okay, so those were my comments on those meeting minutes. Anybody else have anything on April 26th?
Yes, I
I
have a
don't see-
question.
I don't, oh,
Go
Okay.
ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna add, I don't see the motion to extend the meeting that got killed.
Yeah, that was the next, I guess I meant to ask that. Did we need to indicate that that failed or? Because that wasn't referenced
Yes.
whatsoever.
Yes,
should
because
be.
it was
The
a vote.
motion and voted.
Okay. So
Otherwise,
before,
it just looks like we adjourned normally.
right, so I guess, before you get to public comment, then it needs to be added there. That there was a motion by Ms. McGuire, supported by Ms. Richards to extend the meeting. And the motion failed. I don't know, do we need to identify the 2 no voters or? I think it was,
Yeah,
It was myself and Bill.
all right, so Palmer and, yep,
Should.
All right.
okay. Excuse me. All right, so then moving on to,
I had an
Oh,
additional question. I'm sorry.
okay,
Under the postpone the audit presentation,
mhm.
that there was a motion, it was passed unanimously. I'm wondering why we did not have the meeting on May 5th at 7 o'clock via Zoom as mandated in this motion.
Well, we did vote on it. And then we had, following that next week, we had a bunch of emails and discussion that our clerk had a conflict there. So then we started emailing alternatives. And I guess I made the assumption that everybody was good with changing that date to allow our clerk to attend, which is pretty important, I guess, for the audit presentation. So the meeting was never posted. So,
Well, that
It was posted late, but I don't recall quite that way. I don't believe we did vote. I think we discussed it and there was a verbal consent, but an agreement to the date and time. But I didn't see, when I went back to watch the video, which was posted, I think it was Wednesday night, that there wasn't a vote. It was just a discussion and an agreement, but not a formal roll call vote.
well,
That's what I had as well. I thought we had moved to reschedule it, and then we were talking amongst ourselves and basically left Cindy that we would reach out to her to get some times, and I know we ended up discussing those times. But that's how I had it too, Tim. So I wasn't sure everybody's take on that. If
Well, until the video was online, I frankly couldn't remember either. It was kind of one of those busy meetings, busy nights, so I didn't remember. But yeah, I was able to watch the video, and that was my take on it. Of course,
I looked for the
Six
video
people, you get
too, and
six
I
different-
couldn't find it.
it wasn't there until Wednesday night, as I mentioned. So it was not posted right away. JD had hand surgery, I believe, is something, or some medical situation that prevented him from being able to be at the computer using a keyboard. So anyway, he did get to it though.
I was gonna say, just so everybody knows, I email either the night of the meeting or the next day via we transfer that audio to JD to upload. So when he actually gets to uploading it, I'm not sure. But
Yeah, that's right.
sometimes it takes like 45 minutes for that recording to be available to pass on. And to be honest, I don't wait 45 minutes after a meeting that goes till 9:30 or 10 to send it that night. So I do it the next day. But it's always
Well,
by
I
the next
suggest
day.
this, that somebody, or maybe Josh can look at the video, or all of us look over the weekend, because I'm with Bill. I thought we voted on it.
Actually, I think we did vote
And I
on
know
it.
I saw the emails, so, you know.
Right. I listened to it as well, and I
believe
could
we
have
voted on
sworn I listened that we voted on it. That being said, we didn't post it. So I took it that we never posted the meeting and there was a conflict. And so I guess I'll take responsibility for that.
Yeah, it's right at the beginning of the meeting. It won't take you long to get to it when you're watching the
Right.
replay.
So,
Well, then either these minutes are incorrect, or if they are correct, then in my opinion, we have a violation of Open Meetings Act. But I guess if depending on if you watch the meeting, I haven't watched the meeting. I tried to get it and I couldn't get it to come on, but if the minutes are correct, then it was all yeas, the motion carried to have the meeting on May 5th. And we did have Cindy present, and I believe she said that she would be available on the 5th. So,
she was available, yes.
so I guess moving forward, if we schedule a meeting and we vote on it and it's approved, if our thought is that we're only going to have meetings when we have 100% attendance 100% of the time, we're going to be very disappointed, because that is not going to happen. There are, things come up, people can attend, all sorts of things can happen. Everybody has the best intentions. I try and make as many meetings as I possibly can, and I take it very seriously to make sure I'm at not only the board meetings, but other meetings that, I'm asked to attend, and I try and fulfill that. Now, having said that, I have other things in my life that are more important to me than this board, even though this is I take it very seriously and it's important. But if there's something with my family or something that's going on that is important to me, that will come first, always. And so my feeling is that, I know we're trying to, accommodate everybody with these meetings, and that's fine. We can try and do that. But once we've voted on a time in a meeting, to just arbitrarily cancel that, that's a serious violation. That's not right. And if we schedule a meeting and something happens in between and somebody can't make it, that's just the way it works. So.
Well, that's a good point about the OMA, Bill. We need to find out what we have to do to remedy that situation.
Well, I don't think there's any remedy now. It's over and done with. But moving forward, we have to be aware of what we vote on. And if these minutes are accurate, and like I say, I haven't been able to go back and actually watch the meeting, but I believe that Josh had these minutes accurately presented, that we canceled the meeting or the audit, and we asked Cindy when available time, and we selected Wednesday, May 5th at 7 o'clock on Zoom. And it was all yays, motion carried. So, and quite frankly, that probably will happen in the future. We'll vote on a meeting and everyone will think, yeah, okay. And then, between then and when the meeting comes up, something happens and one of us or two of us may not be able to make that, even though we voted that we would. That doesn't mean we cancel the meeting. As long as we can have a quorum, you can conduct a meeting. So.
And I hear you loud and clear, and I understand that. I guess my thought was the audit presentation obviously is a big topic, and the clerk not being able to attend, considering the clerk and the treasurer are kind of key components and all of that, and would need to be there. So, but duly noted on all the above. And I actually did listen to the tape, and I believe we did vote on it. So I think the meeting minutes are correct. But
Oh, interesting. I didn't see it in the first few minutes. So when did we vote? It was how much further in? And
when we
looked at the
talked,
beginning,
yeah,
it didn't seem
I'm
like we
pretty
did.
sure we voted.
I didn't rewatch the entire meeting. That's why. So
Yeah, it was right in the
looked at
beginning. I mean, it was during that discussion, but maybe I misheard. But regardless, I guess we can't go backwards. So we'll have to listen to that again, just to make sure that that's, I'll listen to it again to make sure that we reflect those meeting minutes correctly. Also, Greg Schultz indicated in a text or in a message that we have his name misspelled in the both meeting minutes where he spoke, I believe. So it should be SCHULZ. So if you could get those, Josh. Okay. All right. Anybody else on meeting minutes from April 26th? Okay, then moving on to payment of bills. We have a prepaid dated May 4th for $90,817.12. Is there any comments on those? Or questions, I should say? Or any additional information that you need for Monday?
I have a couple of questions. Well, just one question here. There are a number of these that are in the packet for authorization that we approved at the last meeting. My concern is I don't want to pay these twice. So I'm wondering why we have a number of these here in this packet when we already approved them at the last board meeting.
Because in the process, Bill, once they're approved at the board meeting, somebody has to put them into the PO system. And there's a place where they say they can choose, and it says board approval. So then they get written and it goes on the next list, whether it's been board approved or it's a new one. So it goes on a list so that you see every check that's written.
Yeah, but I haven't seen this in the past, Jamie, where we approve bills at one board meeting and then at a subsequent board meeting, they're on the list again to approve.
Yeah, I don't have one specifically in mind, but I'm sure that there is, because it would have to be on the list because she runs the list from date to date. So any check that we write, it would be on the next list as a prepaid. I guess we can look to see what one. Actually, here's a perfect example of one. The check to Alcona Health Center, that's on the list, right? Actually, it might be on the next list. So Alcona Health Center, over a month ago, we approved a refund to them at a board meeting. So I had to wait for the information. I was waiting for somebody to put it into the PO system to code it and say it was, and where to code it from to pay it. So I was waiting and waiting for the information and couldn't get any information, finally tracked it down a month later. And it's entered and it should be on the list next time. If it's not on this list, actually, I could look.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have put it on the list of bills to pay for a board meeting if you didn't have that information, right? What I'm saying is, if you look at, here's an example. On page 12 of the packet, there's the payment to authorize to Stevenson and Company, Audit Prep, $3,905. That same item was on the April 26th meeting, same amount that we approved at April 26th. And
on another list or just approved at the board meeting?
approved at the board meeting to pay.
Right. Well, the bills
So
don't get And the bills don't get entered into the PO system till the board approves it. And then they create a PO, then Jane creates an invoice, and then it goes on a list.
Yeah, but why do we
And
have
then
to
we write the
approve it
check.
twice?
Well, because it's on, so you want us to separate the ones, and there's really no way to do that. Because we run the check dates by check date. So every bill, like after we have a
But
meeting,
Bill,
it's on a list. There's like no way around, there's no way around it really. Because you're gonna run the list the next day for the next meeting, till the next meeting. You have a prepaid list, and then you have the list that you're approving tonight. So the one that we approve at the board packet isn't approved on the, you're approving the ones individually, not the prepaids. You are looking at individual ones saying, okay, these are okay to pay. Prepaids, for a number of reasons, are on a prepaid list, like if they're late or this or that, or like, for instance, this one is going to be on a, should be on a prepaid list, or, well, it could also be on the other list, but depending on when it got turned in or coded for that matter. So it gets on the next day, it would be written on Tuesday. Okay, if everybody followed through and put it on the PO right away the next day, then it would get written with that stuff the next day or in the next week. So then it would be on a prepaid list before the board meeting. It has to be on a list. There's no way to be not on a list.
Because I think actually I remember seeing, I didn't dive into all these, but Robert, there's one to Rob Eppert, auditor letter prep legal. Because I think you actually questioned that before, Bill.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it was on,
That's what caught my attention when I saw it to be approved again.
right.
We approved it once. I don't understand why we have to approve it a second time to be paid, is my question. And there are a number of these. Those aren't the only two. There's, I don't know, I didn't go through and compare all the pages, but there's at least 8 or 9 here that were all approved at the April 26th meeting. So to
On
me,
a list or at the meeting?
at the meeting, in our packet, in the bill payments, they're all listed in there
So
in the
at a
packet
previous
for
meeting,
April
they're on the same.
26th. I can give you the page number for the April 26th packet.
Yeah. Right. I guess.
hey,
I'm-
Bill, I have a question, seeing you caught that. I don't have the prior packet up, but
I can
for
look.
the Stevenson Company and the Rob Eppert, because they're right there at the top of page 12, are the invoices different or are they the same
The invoices are the
from
same.
packet to packet?
No, the invoices are the same. The dates are the same. Everything is the same. And when I see that and I go back and look at the previous thing, then I worry, well, are we paying this twice?
We're
I'm
not.
not saying we are, but that's what it would look like if we're approving it, 2 weeks ago, and now we're approving it again.
So they're saying
don't-
it's on 2 different lists. They're saying that it's on this list and it's on the last list. Okay, so you're saying the last meeting that we just had,
Yep.
the list of bills is the same as the list of bills that we have today.
Not
Not
necessarily, he's
completely.
not saying the whole thing is the
No.
same. He just said there was a couple of duplicates.
There are several duplicates in here.
On this, so it was Stevenson and Company was on a list last time, and now it's on a list again.
under the payment of bills. Yeah.
Okay,
And I only remember, I guess, the Rob Eppert one, because I remember Bill asking the question.
okay.
Yeah, well,
so
there's-
Why, yeah,
Stevenson and
so.
Company is on this.
There's a lot of
from
them.
last
There's the Truly Yours
Or
DPW trustee.
27, journalized and paid. Do you have, let
The
me,
Truly Yours
hang on.
no wake signage. The legal services RFP from Michigan Municipal League. Chainsaw blades, chainsaw supplies, park supplies. I mean, there's,
Should it maybe not be the 4/3? Well, wouldn't we have run the check? Was that the problem? Maybe the check run date is too long, 4/27, like we
might
ran
have
them?
picked up, yeah, if we set, I'm looking for Jane's list here, hang on.
Yeah, I mean, because if
Well,
it's 4, yeah, because then it's picking up the 4/30. And that was maybe on
Yeah.
the last one.
And
Yeah.
that's why we approve them ahead of time, so that we can pay them on time. You know, it's due on the 30th, but we have to
That's
approve it
okay.
on the 26th.
So Bill, that's what happened is Jane ran it on the 427 for the last time, and then she picked, it should have been, the date should have been 428.
We need
Instead
an
of 14.
updated,
So I can send you an updated list.
so that means the amount is gonna be is different. The prepaid run of May 4th is actually not gonna be 90,817.12.
I'll have to look and see. I can't answer that till I run it.
Okay.
Well, either that's incorrect, or the April 26th is incorrect. One of the
No,
two.
The
We
April,
picked- April 26th, we approved, you know, there's 10 or 15 of these on here that were approved
right,
under the payment of bills on April 26th.
Right,
And
and the
now-
check one, yeah, the check run was dated April 27th. I have the
so
agenda from the last meeting. so
the
I'm
ones
just
that
gonna-
the ones that we approved on this 26 are correct because you're approving it ahead of time, so we can write the check on the 27th. That's your actual list of bills to pay. So that one is right. So the date for this one for the prepaids needs to be changed from 427 at the beginning to 428.
Okay.
And then run through 5/4, which is before the meeting. So that's your prepaids. And then
Gotcha.
the next check run will be the day after the board packet. And it should reflect it new. Actually, I'll have Jane run it right now and send it. We'll email it out.
I would like to see a corrected list before Monday's meeting, so I can go through it this weekend.
That's exactly what I said I was going to do.
No, and she said she's gonna have it, Jane run it now before she leaves for the day.
Right.
Okay, so does that mean that so then the check run 5/5 to 5/11 should be, nothing changes there, but,
Correct.
okay. Well, besides the duplicate ones, Bill, were there anything else? And that the run on dated for May
No.
4th? Okay,
No,
No.
everything's good.
okay, good
It-
catch.
I thought you were talking about agenda items. I didn't realize you were talking about the list right away. Sorry about
No,
that.
it's just the payment of bills in the packet, and we're approving a lot of the same bills that we approved at the April 26th.
Yeah,
right.
so it was
And
the
that-
date.
And that throws a red flag to me saying, I hope we're not paying these twice. That's the
Right.
only. So, okay,
The good thing is in the PO system, that doesn't happen very often anymore because it catches it.
no, that's why it was a red flag for me, because we don't normally see that, where we've approved it at one meeting and then it's being approved at a subsequent meeting. That's
Right.
what caught my eye, especially with the first one, that Stevens, because I specifically remember asking a question about the bill to Mr. Eppert, and explained what that was, and it's, perfectly fine, but we approved to pay it once. I just don't understand why we need to approve paying it the second time. So,
Thanks for
All
catching
right.
that, Bill.
sure.
Excuse me, sorry.
Great
Okay.
catch, Bill.
Yep. Okay. Next then, were any questions on the May 11th? Check run. And just to summarize again, as Jamie indicated, that is going to be rerun now, that report, and will be emailed out to the board, and the packet itself will be updated online, just like any other changes that we make. Okay. All right. So anything on the May 11th check run? No? All right, going on to, we have, oh, I'm sorry.
I guess there's one that still it caught my eye. I'd like to get more information on,
Okay,
and it's probably the F41 property. John Henry Excavating, installation of an 1.5-inch water main tap and meter pit. Why are we spending money going outside when we have F&V and we have equipment in-house to do this? And if that's the case, I'd really like to go through the F&V contract and understand that, if somebody could send that to me.
okay.
just for an example, they charge $5,500 and we only get $2,200 for a tap. Well, inch and a half, we get a little, probably around $3,000, but coming out of our coffers either way. Like an extra expense to me.
Right.
Isn't that the one that they just had a meeting about?
I'm not sure which one this is. I understand the F41 property, but we have a contract with F&V, so I'd like to see that and go through it in detail. We also have equipment in the township. So I don't understand why we're going to the outside to have these done.
I think, and don't hold me to this, but I believe that was a finish on phase 1 of the water main extension over on not Forest Drive. Oh shoot, they were finishing up.
Road.
We're finishing up
Rose Lane.
connections from that phase 1 water main project, and John Henry was contracted to do those connections. I believe that's what that is.
Well, Jamie, if you could send me the invoice for line item 591000, looks like 800,200. I would appreciate it. Let's look at it.
Well, it actually, yeah, it actually indicates right there in the narrative that it's 1.5 inch water main tap and meter pit installation. So I'm guessing
Oh, no,
it's
I
not
see
41.
that.
Yeah,
That's like, see the invoice.
great.
And the other one right above it is out of scope work, water main break. F&V operation, single bill for $29.28.
That was,
I think I asked about,
yeah,
I think I asked about
Oh,
that one in
sorry,
a prior
Jamie's
meeting.
muted.
And
Sorry.
it's being passed along to the construction team that caused that, was what I recall being told. Is that the same one, Ann?
yes.
Okay, so Steve, you want the invoice and the general ledger printout of that line number?
I'd like the invoice tied to that so I could just look at it.
Okay.
What it's for. And then Mitch, if you can send me the F&V contract, I'd really like to go through it in detail because I have many questions.
Okay.
All right,
So
any
who-
other questions?
Who do I forward that list to update the website? Tammy?
Yes.
Okay. Give a total.
Any other questions on the May 5th run? All right, moving on then, we have on the agenda, we're gonna have a subcommittee report from the EIC director. I'm gonna unmute. I see Todd is here. There's nothing in the packet, so I guess I'm gonna unmute him to see what we are gonna be updated on, because it says real estate update.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I thought we were putting that, I thought that was gonna end up under other at the end of the agenda, but we have the 2 proposals, I believe, were submitted for the Skeel Avenue, and then I'm gonna chat with the board about disposable properties.
Okay, and are we gonna be provided these proposals prior to Monday?
Nope, we were supposed to be doing it.
Opening it now, supposedly. So just a moment.
Yeah, my camera doesn't work. Are you guys still, can you hear us at this time?
Yep,
All
I
right,
can
so
hear
I'm-
you if you're Josh and
Yeah.
Mitch anyways.
Yep, I'm in
Okay.
the clerk's office
All right,
and we just opened the first one. And we have a letter of intent to purchase property from a Roger Burgoff. Well, I hope I got that right.
You're pretty close.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know if we need to, we will give you that. And Josh is opening the second one right now. Second one is from a Danto Builders.
Danto or I'm sorry.
Danto, D-A-N-T-O Builders. And the CEO's name is Craig Danto, D-A-N-T-O. So we will attempt to get these scanned and sent so that they will be part of the board packet for Monday.
Okay, so they'll be individually emailed to the board via a scan, and then they will be uploaded to the website or in the board packet for the public.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, and
Are we able to do any sort of a background check on these people prior to making a decision on accepting or rejecting sale?
I would assume so. It's a letter of intent, so they're providing their intent. And then we don't need to accept anything on Monday. We need to
Okay.
be presented the information, see what's all there, I guess, and what we need to follow up on.
Okay.
Unless there's
All
some kind of a timeline identified in that letter of intent or
Okay,
in the proposal
think
that
one of
we
our-
asked for.
One of our requirements is financial wherewithal, so we can
Right.
ask for that information.
So they should have references included, I would assume, something.
as long as we're not planning on making a decision Monday night with this limited amount of time to review both
Right.
pack, that's fine, that's fine.
So I guess my question to you, Todd, is, so obviously you haven't seen these proposals because we just opened them up, correct?
Yep.
So we have no way of knowing actually if they have checked all the Ts and crossed all the Is, or opposite of whatever I just said. I think I said it backwards, but anyways, if they have actually submitted our bare minimum requirement, you haven't had that opportunity to review that. So my thought process would be, we need to make sure that they have so those need to be emailed to Todd as well, not just the board, since he hasn't seen them. I don't know, I'm assuming you're not in town right now, to review to make sure they've met all the criteria, or do we need additional information for Monday night?
Yeah, you're right. I have not seen them, so.
Okay.
They're made available to me. I can go through them, and if there is things that are missing, I can try and get that cleaned up before Monday night's meeting.
Right, I guess my thought process would be that you would be presenting these, because I'm assuming you've been working with them, because I think you had some, some meetings and so on prior to this. So, kind of a summary on each one of them would be my thought process, I guess. I don't know about the rest of the board, but.
Tammy is attempting to have them scanned in right now, so.
Okay, but that's what I would like to see.
I can do that.
Thank you. Okay, so you're good with it being under, I mean, I know you had indicated you thought it was gonna be under other, but it's going to be under your update.
Yeah,
Correct?
that's fine with me.
Okay. And then is there something else that says,
Property disposition discussion?
okay, but that's actually under other.
Okay, that makes sense. So we can,
Oh, actually, wait a minute, scratch that. So is Skeel Avenue.
Wait,
I'm just looking under other now. Skeel Avenue
Yeah,
review of
number,
purchase proposals.
number
and-
one.
Yep, and number 2 is property disposition discussion. So you are under other.
Yeah.
But I was just reading what was on the agenda, real estate update. So I guess I don't know what the,
Yeah, you can't make any kind of decision up there in the subcommittee portion.
right.
That's why we place it down below.
Okay, so I guess my question is then under under the subcommittee reports, what was the discussion for real estate update then? Is that something different than what we just now talked about?
No, I don't have anything other than what we've talked about now, so I guess I can't speak to that.
Property disposition discussion doesn't need to occur.
Well, the disposition discussion, but that should be under other.
What, so I guess my question is, do we really need Todd under the subcommittee report if he's actually identified under other? That's my question.
That is how I thought it was gonna get presented personally, so the fact that I'm in subcommittee is news to me.
Okay, so we could change the, amend the agenda,
We'll just
It's-
scratch then all subcommittee report.
right? So just remove that part. So we'll, up. Right?
That's fine. We have it covered under other.
Okay. Well, we'll see if there's any other ones before we get there. All right. I mean, before we have Tammy update it, but, okay, so you're good then, Todd. You are under other Skeel Avenue review of purchase proposals and number 2, property disposition discussion.
I'm good.
Okay, and what exactly is property disposition discussion?
I'll give you an update of where we are on the holistic approach to disposable versus non-disposable, and I'm gonna make a request that we move 2 of our properties, possibly 3, to disposable.
Okay, and are we gonna be given this information before Monday, or is this gonna be a surprise?
Well, I mean, the Lake Street redevelopment site, the Furtoff Field, and I can't remember if we have Awnee. We probably need to nominate Awnee if we're gonna move forward with a listing agreement or taking that to auction. We probably need to make that disposable as well.
We just lost.
What did you say,
lost
Tim?
Todd. We just lose Todd. I just heard him go away.
No, he's there.
Here,
Yeah.
I didn't. It was interesting. I just lost audio for a few seconds. That's weird. Sorry about that. I don't
Maybe
know.
when he
Just
said
sitting there
Furtop.
listening.
I was gonna say, I wish I would have lost audio for a second, but
Okay.
sorry,
Was it bad? news?
sorry. But
Was there? So Todd, could you just repeat the last sentence you mentioned? I just lost the
Yeah.
last thing you said.
The 3 sites that I'm gonna ask the board to consider nominating as disposable are the Lake Street redevelopment site. So that's Lake, River Road, and then I forget the other street over there on the
Michigan,
Michigan, up to the parking lot, so that square area there. Furtoff Field and Awnee Medical Building.
okay, well,
Do we-
go ahead, Jamie, sorry.
So there's nothing in the board packet that says that, right?
No. There needs to be something in the board packet,
There does.
Yeah, exactly.
so,
We'll put it to the next meeting.
I don't think it's in the packet because we just opened it.
well,
We just
no,
opened it.
we
5
didn't
minutes ago.
open anything. The only thing we opened were some Skeel Avenue proposals.
Right.
We're talking about a disposable,
The
number one,
disposition.
yeah, disposable disposition, which is that coming as an EIC recommendation then? Did the EIC act on that, or is that your recommendation?
That's my recommendation.
Something should be in the board packet.
Yes, I would say so.
All right, well then we'll move it to the next meeting.
No, we can do this meeting. Let's put it in the board packet. We got time to fix it.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, we can't not have information in regard to those 3 topics, not included in the board packet and
For the
identified
public.
for
Yeah.
the public, right?
Oh.
If you're asking us to act on something, which I'm hearing that's what you're asking, so.
I'll get that stuff over to you first thing, or to Tammy first thing, so she can get it updated.
Okay. All right, so now we're to the superintendent's report, unless there's more comments. Okay, so we're to the superintendent's report. We have the analytical services invoice, the capital improvement bonds.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mitch. I mean, that was from last meeting, I think.
Yep, after Tim talked about it, I made sure I have the line items these are coming from. So that's in that first one of analytical services. So unless there's a question, then you can act upon that.
Everybody have what they need for Monday night on that?
Well, my only question is this is for the water main extension project.
That is correct.
Then why is it coming out of the sewer fund?
It's under insurance and bonds.
In the sewer fund. 590 is the sewer fund. 591 would be the water fund. And probably this invoice should be split between the two. I think part of the bond is for the part of the sewer project, isn't it?
Yes.
Or if it's all water, then it needs to come out of the water fund.
We'll make confirmation on that and have it for you for Monday.
Okay.
All right, cemetery revenue appropriations request. Questions on that? I can't remember, didn't we delay that one too?
Well, for this payment to be made, there's no funds set for that. So
Yeah, we delayed it for that reason.
So we may have to make an appropriations, which is what he's.
you will have to. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay,
There was no money there. So we delayed
Yep.
it.
all right. Okay, and then we have the OOP erosion project payment request.
That's correct. So the 218 fund is the Old Orchard Park capital improvement under capital improvement expense, and the 509 is under professional fees under Old Orchard Park.
Okay, anybody have any questions or need additional information for Monday? Okay.
In that for the Old Orchard Park, for the 218 fund, the 111,400, in that fund, there should be a carryover from last year because there was 162,000 that was budgeted. And I don't believe we used all that. It's only showing 55,000 budgeted for this year.
I had some money moved for this purpose to that fund.
Okay, all right.
So for that purpose.
Yeah,
Right.
we were.
There was about a 98,000 in the capital improvement here that never materialized as far as work was completed.
Right, we were intending to do that last year and it didn't happen. And
That's right. And then the
Do it
price
this
came in obviously much higher than 98,000. So.
right, okay, all right.
Okay, and then we have the Sting information.
Right. So again, another invoice. I didn't know, I wanted to make sure you knew that this is coming out of professional fees. We talked about the last meeting for demolition work. So of the 34,000, $9,795 and some change needs to come out just to pay the Sting invoice. So we'll watch this fund as we go, but I hate to say, we could drain this quickly, depending on how the calendar year goes. So just want to make sure you were noting that this is a large expense that we have to pay from this line item.
Yeah,
Bill, didn't you indicate there was like, it was in the 20,000 or something was put in that fund for specifically for demolition? I don't remember what the amount was.
I think we added 25,000 to cover demolition and it brought it up to 34,000. I went through previous budgets. I thought there was a line, maybe Jamie would remember. I thought there was a specific line for this sting because we've been paying that for a number of years. Originally, we had an officer that was on the sting and reported that in the budget in terms of, you know, that officer's pay and benefits and everything else. Then we opted not to, we brought that officer back from sting. And we've been paying this approximate same amount for a number of years. And I couldn't find it. I was certain there was a line item for this sting payment, but I couldn't find it. So
Bill, you're right. There used to be specific numbers for the officer itself in the police fund, but for the actual contribution amount, I went back and looked at the history too, because I looked at the same number that it's being charged to, and I was like, I didn't know if that was right or not, but it is. It looks like we've repeatedly spent this money out of that line item, but the officer was charged to a specific line item.
yeah, no, I don't know if we'd want to split that between two different line items. There is a line item in 207, 890 for police fund contingency, $6,500. If we didn't want to take all of it out of the professional fees to tap into our, you know, demolition work, you know, we do split between funds sometimes for different, but
Right.
I think.
I don't want to say what, let's, my thought is let's let it ride and let's just keep working, because this would be kind of the right spot at this time for the invoice. And then if it gets ugly, obviously, I think that's something in the next budget, we may want to look at some formulaic, you know, maybe we'll take it from two places. But again, I think some narrative to that effect would help everyone going forward so that we could go, oh yeah, that's where that sting cost is going to come out of this and this. And
Right. Well, I think that we, you know, like we talked about, we can have sub GLs, so we could identify the demolition, you know, specifically. So we're not, you know, mixing money, and usually contingency is kept to the end. You know, really dip into that until towards the end of the budget year. If you got a, you know, some overages, you leave that contingency there. That's how we've done it in the past anyways. But
Yeah, and that's fine. I just,
yeah,
I was convinced that there was a separate line item for that sting, because I know we've been paying that for,
Mhm.
5 or 6 years, Jamie, isn't that? I
Yeah,
mean,
oh, at least. And I
At
did the same thing. I literally went back in the general ledger to see if that's where we were charging it to.
Yeah,
so it has remained the same though, right, Jamie? You just said
This portion
this
has.
portion,
remained the same.
right? Not the officer. The officer was a
Right.
different. Okay. All right.
Yep, I did look. I'm looking again, just to make sure.
Sorry. Okay, next is the IT proposal. I know there's a bunch of narrative, Mitch, in your report, but there's not like a proposal in the packet that I saw. So I don't know. if we need a packet or-
I think the best would be for the board to take a look at this, and obviously Jeremy and Tim will have probably the most input. And then my thought is that on Monday, we should just talk about their answers in green and whether we A, agree with them, or B, so I can send some response back to them. I'm not necessarily saying, okay, are we good to go? But I just wanted to make sure that you guys got the response that I received from IT Right, so that you can look at these and go, seems okay, or no, you know, and comment accordingly. And then I can send that response back to them.
Okay, so we're actually just going to be commenting on the question or on the.
Yes, and I guess I'm encouraged that they answered. I mean, I think that's, I'm encouraged that they answered, and that says to me that they're willing to at least talk. And I don't think, in looking at, I'm trying to remember, it's been a little bit since I've looked at it, I don't think they tried to bring up any super new issues either. So I think if we're down to just this is something that I think we can work through and take care of. So But I didn't want to say, oh, sure, let's start talking about it at the work session since you just received this. I just wanted to make sure that you had it. And like I said, all of the parts that are in green are their responses. So take a look at that.
Yeah.
Think
If I
about it.
could recommend something, or
Oh,
yeah, right. If I could just sort of take your point a step further, Mitch, I like what you're suggesting, just looking at people to be informed of the ongoing saga of negotiating this contract with them. If, you know, if people have a thought or a concern, maybe that's the opportunity on Monday to bring it up. I think some of what they've said here is just word replies of either agreement or just information that they're sharing with us in response to what was stated. So, I mean, sooner or later, they're going to have to get it to a contract. And so what I wouldn't want to have us do, with all due respect, Mitch, I wouldn't want to have us spend an hour on this on Monday deliberating over this verbiage, because it's not even contract. So I think it's more just to the point of just being aware of that they are responding. Okay, yeah, it's a positive response that they responded, but you know, we still got to get to the language yet. So
yeah.
I kind of feel like, okay, if anybody has a strong feeling about something being, I don't know, they don't like the wording of something, or they think the response should have been something else, or they wonder about a what if, maybe that's where the conversation could go on Monday. That's just my suggestion. I'm not trying to set parameters, just trying to save ourselves time on Monday.
Yeah, I think if you as a group can say, you know, conceptually, you know, I read through their answer to section 1 and 2. Yeah, okay, right. I think that's, you know, going along the right lines, or no, it's not. And then we can buzz through these. And then I think that gives Tim, Jeremy, and I an ability to go back to IT Right with your feedback and their feedback, and then start crunching some true language together. And I think that's basically what we're asking. And what I think, you know, I think if the board says, oh my goodness, I don't really agree with that section, and we could have a small discussion about that. But if there's generally some agreement, at least conceptually, to the answers that were given, and whatever other feedback, then that gives the three of us an ability to take that and then craft it into hard contract language.
Okay. Any other questions on that? All right, then under other, we already covered 1 and 2. Number 3 is Planning Commission, nepotism issue, board protocol.
And
Yes.
just for clarification, the Sting bill for the last 3 years has been charged to the 207-801. And then before that, it was coming out of 299 and allocated.
So it's going in the same spot that it's been going to.
For the last 3 years. And then
Right.
it was being charged to 299-882 previous to that.
Before.
Yep. Just so everybody knows.
So that would have been kind of like the difference between Dave Schaefer budgeting and Bob Stalker, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna just because I just read Mitch's report, but again, by no means, I mean, John isn't I don't want it to be read that John is refusing to resign. What he's indicating is that he's not, he was asked to be on this board. He enjoys being on this board, and he's not a quitter. So he would love to remain on this board. So if the board would like him, I mean, is going to adhere to the protocol, then we need to rescind, I guess, the appointment. So because he is very, you know, just getting his feet wet and really starting to enjoy the impact he could be making. So. All right, so obviously we did discuss a little bit of the protocol. We amended a time, but then we did not, we had some discussion, but we did not extend the meeting. So this needs to be addressed. Okay. Anybody need any more information for that for Monday? All right, the next is the Isco County Equalization use request.
I think what this is from the last meeting, so our policy holds, we're not interested.
Oh, that was just, gotcha. We tabled, or we didn't get to it. All right.
No.
I was like, I remember reading this. Why didn't we act on it? It's because we ran out of time. All right, now I'm there. Okay.
When you send this back to them with our rejection, can we update the names in the list of names they have there? So it's current.
Yes.
All right, and then next we have the 2021 Vanity herbicide applicator recommendation. 2 bids were received. They were reviewed by the lake manager. They were then sent on to the weed committee, and the weed committee did make a recommendation to go with the slightly lower bid of Clark. So. Any questions or any additional information you need on that for Monday? I guess I would just note that we can't approve an amount. I mean, they always do like an a la carte kind of offering of what they could or couldn't do for weed control, but they can't ever spend that full $100 and whatever thousand dollars that's on there, because we only have a $70,000 SAD and 8,000 of that is allocated to the lake manager. So in theory, we really shouldn't be approving the full amount of the bid submitted, I guess would be my point.
I think it's just a vote of which applicator we choose.
Mm,
And we've used both of them in the past. They both
Right.
do excellent work. So in this case, Clark came in a little under, so,
mhm.
you know, we probably will approve them being the applicator this year. Maybe next year it'll be the other company. It's always these two, so.
Right. Okay, and then the next we have the land division parcel number identified, and it's pretty huge packet in there, so. Somebody have any additional information they're gonna need prior to Monday for that? Okay, then we have the 2021 summer newsletter. I honestly haven't really read through it, so I will be doing that.
Need to make a correction in that. It has the, here, let me get to it. The lower right, left-hand corner, it has the refuse drop off. That is the information from a couple of years ago. Here it is. This year we're going with Sunrise there in
No,
Oscoda.
Okay,
no. We had to change.
huh?
We had to change. Sunrise backed out on us on that date.
Oh, so Sunrise is not doing it. It's actually gonna be Travis?
Yes.
Well, that needs to come to the board for approval.
There's no contract.
Is that the same amount?
Yes.
Were we given a reason why
Yes, we
Sunrise
did.
backed out?
Not
I didn't know
really.
anything about it, so.
No. So.
When did they back out?
Just recent, so. So we had to make some calls and try to keep the same date, since the date is kind of the important part of the process, so.
I think we probably should have that as an agenda addition to approve that contract with
Okay,
Travis.
all right.
Okay,
I have one as well, Anne, if you're ready for it.
sure.
Yeah, so on page 100, it's the same letter here we're discussing. On page 1, the first page, we talk about a reminder in the bottom right corner about the Township Hall phone system. Couple things. One is that I recommend a change to the wording. And then in addition, one additional sentence. Looks like there's room for it in that box. Mitch, what I'm recommending here is that as you get to the point about having all offices can be reached by dialing our phone number, our main number, and selecting the appropriate extension. It's actually not an extension because people's extensions aren't single digits. It'd be in following the automated attendant or something like that, or using the automated attendant, something that maybe to that effect, if that makes sense. So does that make sense to you?
Sure.
Oh, right,
then the
because you got to
next-
listen to the voice.
Yeah, because you can't, because one isn't an extension. The next thing is that we should tell the public by when we intend to retire the call them vanity phone numbers, the direct phone numbers that have been in existence here for decades, I think. I don't know how long we've had those. It was part of the original phone system proposal that those phone numbers would be retired and that there would be only one way into Township Hall, and would actually increase the savings because we pay for those numbers currently right now today. They're not as much as they were with Charter, but there is a cost, a monthly cost. And part of the cost savings of this new system was that those phone numbers would be phased out. So I think we just have to decide as a board when we're going to make that change and include that sentence here that direct lines, or if there weren't even extensions, there were direct dial phone numbers into the various Township Hall offices. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's an action item here. I don't know if we need to make a motion for it because it's something that you can execute yourself, Mitch, in a sense, as long as you have the board direction, that we just, just make those numbers go away on a certain date, and we just make that date here and here. And I don't know whether it's 30 days, 60 days from this letter. I mean, to be honest with you, there's really no inconvenience to the public because there's always going to be a way to reach any office in Township Hall, just using the automated extension. So it may be that we could just say 30 days or set a date. I don't know when this is supposed to go out. It's when do we normally send this, Jamie? And like
I'm
receipt
sorry,
date?
I was on the phone, so I missed the very beginning of the conversation. I don't see it as is it on the agenda?
We're talking about the newsletter. Yeah, it's on the agenda.
Okay,
It's under,
It's page 100.
okay.
number 7. We're talking about the phone numbers right now.
Oh,
First, we were talking about the drop off, actually is going to be at Travis Sanitation, not Sunrise.
yeah, correct.
And then now we're talking about the phone numbers. Or
Oh,
the down at the bottom right-hand side, where we're talking about the phone system.
okay.
and
Was there
phasing
any
out.
other corrections to the newsletter? Anybody had any other question besides that?
So far, those are the only 2.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, yes, I think I caught the end of what Tim was saying about the phone numbers. Yeah, I think that,
There are
yeah,
two things in summary, Jamie, because they'll be familiar to you. I was just saying that instead of saying and selecting the appropriate extension, just and following the automated attendant, because the 1, 2, 3, 4 that you choose on the automated attendant isn't an extension. So I just want to clarify the wording. And the next thing
Yeah.
was to add a sentence that said that the vanity phone numbers or the phone numbers, the direct dial phone numbers into the offices would be retired as of a certain date. And I was proposing that maybe we could do 30 days from the date that this would roughly be received by the public. I didn't want to do it too soon, but I think that since they've been around for a while,
right.
to give people time to take notice of it.
Yep. I'm not sure how much room Tammy has there on the thing, but maybe she can ditch the color photo for Old Orchard Park up there and make that spot a little
Yeah,
bigger.
right.
Since it's
Right,
gonna be in
exactly
black and
right.
white anyways, yeah.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. So does anybody have a concern about 30 days? And do you know when roughly people would start receiving this letter? That's
This
Goes out with the
goes
tax
out-
bill.
Yeah, this goes out
Yeah,
July
but
1st with the tax bill.
so July 1st. Okay. So by July week later or something, everyone's got them kind of thing.
Yep.
Mail. Okay. So maybe by August something, mid-August. I don't know.
Mid-August, yep.
Maybe Mitch, you could talk to ATI and find out what a good date is. I don't know when our billing ends off. Does it end the end of the month and invoice on the 1st, or what are the,
I'll have to look.
what's the date? Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe it could coincide with that, so it's not a partial month. Trying to be nice to them too, I suppose.
Right, I think Tammy's still zoomed in. Glutton for punishment. I think she's still next door. Yeah. So,
Probably still trying to scan the,
yeah.
these things we just opened. Trust me, they were big. So,
So, yep. We'll get some revised stuff out on that. All right. Anything else on that newsletter? All right, the next on we have GIS and Oscoda Township.
well, this isn't an action item. This is basically some information. I was originally going to have equalization people come to the meeting, but from the answers I gleaned from them, it wouldn't be of too much value. Basically, they have a GIS parcel line project, and that's supposedly running in the BSNA program. But I'll tell you, it's not, because the integration between BSNA and this has not happened. Nancy's working on that. But the public portion, which that's what most people care about, it's basically a read-only. They don't even have that done. They're still looking for proposals from a company to do it. So as I indicated, so there's still quite a bit of time before the public could ever even use this for public online viewing. So I'm not sure they're really as far along as they claim. And trust me, I mean, I looked all over their county site. You can't even find GIS mentioned as a click button or anything else or a link. So they're not in any time as far as value for the general populace. They're not going to be able to use this for quite some time yet. So this is just information for you to know.
Okay. All right. Then next is the special, the 2020 audit presentation.
So thinking about all that's transpired, and it was earlier in the discussion, I thought the smart move would be put this on the agenda just to actually make a motion, set a date and time that will occur.
And we have been provided, I mean, the main person would be Cindy that needs to be there, obviously. I guess the question, I think our attorney was included on that, but it's my understanding that the attorney doesn't, I mean, I don't understand. Okay, he's not. Okay.
He just happened to be present when the conversation was had with Cindy about dates.
Gotcha.
And he just said, hey, if I'm available on those times too, if needed. And he already knows that he's not needed, so.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I don't think we need to be paying him to listen to our audit presentation. So basically we have either the audit presentation could be on the, not obviously this board meeting, but the last board meeting of the month, which is the 24th. Or there's some dates.
I
before
prefer
that.
we have a special meeting for this because it's going to take a lot of time. So I'm, as we discussed in the last meeting, I'd like a special meeting for this.
And I think that Josh
That's what I'd
is
like to plan
moving
for.
and I think you're right, Steve, because I think Josh is already gathering a date and time for this meeting anyway.
Yeah,
that
we were
right, John?
looking at the 17th, 18th, or 20th. Yeah, and really just narrowing down, I just got your email before the work session started, Tim, so I appreciate that, and then just needed
Sure.
to get with Bill, and then I believe we can get it done on one of those 3 days before that next meeting.
So maybe we just propose that date and time as an agenda item for vote.
For Monday night, right? But it's gonna be in the evening,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll have that date nailed down at I agree, Steve, I would like it at a different meeting besides our regular board meeting. But they're long enough all on their own without a presentation,
Agreed.
so. Not
Thank you.
complaining, just saying they're long enough on their own. We don't need an hour,
Well, but-
5-hour meeting.
You know, and why you bring that up, I mean, this is the purpose of the work session. We shouldn't have a 2.5-hour meeting. At 9 o'clock, we should be able to stop and have public comment. And that's what we've got to strive to. I mean, otherwise, this is kind of a wasteful meeting in my mind.
Yep,
We're not going to streamline Monday. It should be an executable item and that's it. Go. Spend more on public and strategy. So,
sounds like a plan.
my opinion.
Is that what the last meeting was, that to demonstrate that at 9:30?
Satisfied. No, it had nothing to do with the demonstration, Jamie. It's just, we had Roe on for Wednesday, and I'll tell you, it's nothing against Roe, but we pay them to be there on the Friday work session, and then yet we spend 45, 50 minutes going through the exact same thing with Roe and a bill. You just mentioned the attorney bill. I don't understand that. We've gotten all the information from Roe, and it should just be an executable item. If there's a question, I'm sure the board can answer that. That's an example. Has nothing to do with the Monday meeting. Has nothing to do with the length of it. I had a time constraint. I made it clear before the meeting, and I was on for the entire 2.5 hours. Simple as that.
Okay, then I guess it kind of goes back to something that Bill said earlier, that we still have a majority of the board. So I'm kind of puzzled why we couldn't just continue the meeting without you.
Because state law, state statute is, if it's not unanimous, you can't continue to deliberate or have any motions or vote. That's state law.
Oh, well, I understand that, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm just asking, so this is going to be the precedent. If somebody has to leave by 9:30, then we're just not going to continue the meeting?
State
Well,
law,
at
that's the way
9:30,
it
you're
is.
going to ask for a vote anyway. And so that's,
I guess what
her.
her question is why, I know Steve couldn't extend because obviously he had a time constraint.
Right.
Bill voted to not extend as well. So the question was, everybody else voted to extend. Why not, if Steve had to recuse himself because he had a time constraint, why not just continue on with the meeting? That was the question. Because we have at other times gone past
It's not-
9:30. So
If it's
we
not a
usually do.
unanimous vote, you cannot continue.
I understand that. The question is though, we've gone past 10 o'clock before. Why end the meeting when there was just a couple little items left? So that's the question.
Yeah.
Well, the answer to that question is that they weren't little items. This nepotism issue hadn't been resolved. And I think that's important to have the full board there to talk about that, especially Mr. Worsterbarth, who is sort of involved in that. That was the reason. Normally, I'm more than happy to extend the meeting to, finish up the business we have to do. But when there's something that's so important that, everybody needs to be involved in it, then I don't think we should just continue the meeting and have a limited number of members. So that was the reason that I voted against it. Normally, I'm more than happy to extend the meeting to finish the business at hand. But in this
Gotcha.
particular instance, it was something that I felt we shouldn't continue with until we had the full board to discuss it. So.
Okay.
Thank you,
Understand.
Bill.
Yep, thanks.
Sure.
All right. So then we have under informational, just a couple informational things. Although I guess personally, the charter peg channel removal as being informational is a little bit of an issue for me, considering we've been paying I'm drawing a blank on their names, but we've been paying somebody to manage,
MIC.
yeah, we've been paying somebody to manage our PEG channel, and now we're being told that our PEG channel's canceled because nothing's on there. So I think that opens up a kind of a big question for me. I don't know about anybody else, but
Yes.
I wondered that as well.
so. Because I mean, it's my understanding what they've been doing, and I mean, has been posting converting our meeting, from Zoom to a YouTube thing and putting it on. So that's pretty much all I think that they've been doing for whatever it is that we're continuing to pay them for. Because obviously it's not maintaining the PEG channel if we're now being dropped. Which then what happens to the franchise fees that we're collecting that are on the charter bill?
The franchise fee does not have anything to do with the PEG channel. We can collect it regardless. And it also doesn't stipulate in the agreement with charter where that money has to be spent. So
Okay.
there's no relationship.
I thought it has to be used for something along that lines. Like we could use it to improve our internet services or those type of things. I thought it had to have something to do along those lines, but I don't think we could use it to buy a fire truck or something like that. I think it had to be some purposeful use. But we can go back and look at the information that we got originally.
Okay. Well, I guess my point is that I think that opens up a can of worms.
Yes.
Yeah.
It may, but it doesn't involve charter. I hate to say that, but
Right.
charter's telling you, look, nope, the PEG channel is closed and it's gone. And then if we're going to act accordingly on a contract with another firm, then that's a whole nother issue. So
We don't have a contract right now anyways.
Right.
I don't think it's been a couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Jamie? I think it's been at least a couple of
Yes,
years.
it has.
Like,
Oh.
All right. Well, that
there is one more item. I did send out something that I received today.
oh yeah, that's right.
From
Yep.
Nancy, and I just, unless somebody's really opposed to it, I'd like to add it to the agenda for Monday. And it's basically, she gave me basically her outline of what she would hope to receive for compensation of serving as the zoning and planning director in the interim.
We can add that Monday night as an agenda item.
Yes, if you'd be agreeable to that.
Sure, that's fine. I'm agreeable with that.
Yeah. So we'll just do it on Monday, or we're gonna already amend or
Well, you can't make a motion, so I would ask that as long as nobody's really opposed to it, I'm gonna ask that it be added Monday.
Okay.
It's, I mean, pretty straightforward. Basically, in her contract, it talks about a rate of $30 an hour for additional services. She's basing it on 15 hours a week that she spent on zoning and planning. So she's asked for an additional $450 per week for the 3 weeks in which she operated the zoning department. And
right. And I know we
I think
can't.
that-
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I
I just think
I
that's
know.
more.
Yeah.
So,
We can't act on it, but I guess I thought we were already, which will I guess we're into 3, consider need for follow-up or additional information. I had that we were already amending the agenda to remove the subcommittee reports and project updates. We were removing the EIC director update because it's embedded in the other. So my
Yeah.
thought is at the
Well-
same time, we could add the assessor on.
I guess we could do that.
If we're
I just
already
want to make
amending it.
sure that, I want to
And-
add it. I know it's a late add.
Right,
Um,
unless Tammy has already done that change and amended it.
Oh.
No, she's not.
No.
I'm hearing
No.
her through the wall, so no, she has not. So,
No.
yeah,
Communication.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're really thick walls here. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so you want to add that under other? Is that what we'll put?
yeah,
that?
I guess I'm just
We-
thinking,
we
since
would
we're
like-
already amending the agenda, why not do it, now?
Yeah.
Personally,
We just.
So yes, Tammy.
The last meeting, we got a lot of late ads from Roe. And it
Right.
just, honestly, it really pissed me off. Because there's no time to prepare, no time to read through that stuff. And so I'm like, ugh. So, I mean, not that she's giving me something we can't handle, but I'm like, ooh, we should have gave it to me like 2 days ago, but that's okay. I mean, it's all good, but I'm trying to cut down on these like late, super late adds to the agenda. I mean, it just
We have a
makes-
deadline for a reason.
Yeah,
Um,
but
um,
again, we had already talked about this once, just in generality. So, so I just want to kind of ask if you're okay with it, I'll add it. If you're not, then I'll put it on to the regular at the following meeting. But it sounds like at least nobody's really opposed if it gets added to the next meeting.
I think it's only fair that we put it on this meeting.
So.
And I would suggest it goes under, I mean, do you want it under other or under your report? Under
I would
six?
say under other. It's not necessarily a me thing. It's a board.
Okay, so it's gonna be number 10.
Yes.
Okay, and then we are gonna, then Tammy, I know you're listening, so if you could add number 10, assessor request, or however it was worded. And then also remove the subcommittee reports and projects. I mean, just remove number 1. And then amend that agenda, please. And then for follow-up, I guess I'll just go over the couple things I had. May 4th, check run. Jamie was gonna rerun that, correct?
Already sent.
Okay, I'm not reading my email, so just making sure, all right?
Okay.
And then, so that's gonna be reset and that'll be uploaded to the board packet as well. We have May 5th. Steve had a question in regard to the John Henry invoice that was submitted for that. So Jamie, if you could send that out to the whole board, not just,
Oh, I just sent it to Steve.
that's fine.
Let me just clarify though, Steve. I sent it to you and the GL number that you said was 591-000-800-200. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct.
There was no action in that, but I sent it to you anyways. So maybe, and I only did from the beginning of this year to now, so.
I'll look at the general ledger and send you what I have. I'd just like to see the invoice to match up to that bill.
Okay, absolutely.
So that's it.
Yeah, it was like $5,000, Jamie. The invoice.
Oh, no, yeah, that was
55.
when yes, I already have it right here on top.
Okay, yeah, that was the question. And then Steve also requested a copy of the F&V contract to be emailed. I think it'd probably be good to send it to everybody as well, just to make sure everybody has it. And then I had Skeel, so again, under the Skeel Avenue review and
Those-
purchase.
Those are already been sent. I'm looking at the email
Okay,
right.
all right, so just making, yeah, I'm just doing a summary, so that everybody makes sure we have stuff covered that we went over. So those are gonna be emailed and they're gonna be uploaded to the packet, those proposals, and Todd is gonna actually receive the copies as well so that he can provide a summary to us Monday night when he presents. And then also under property disposal discussion, he indicated the 3 properties and he's going to be emailing those and they're going to be uploaded to the packet. Moving forward, I guess I'm just going to say, we can't have an agenda item without any backup as to what it is that we're going to be discussing. So I
think that's in our protocol.
yeah, so I can't run a meeting not knowing what it is I'm asking the board to discuss. And I sure as heck don't want to look like an idiot.
Hard to stay on topic when you don't know what we're discussing.
Yeah, well, I
hard to stay
don't
on
like to be
topic, right?
blind. I mean, I don't like to be blindsided. So not trying to say anybody is, but
fine.
obviously these topics are we can't just save that information for Monday night. So anyways. It should be any agenda item. There should be information in the packet. Either it's got to be addressed in Mitch's report or there's got to be something that gives us the information that we're going to be discussing. So.
Yeah, I have a question. So I agree with the procedure point of it. I wanted to go back to the agenda itself. I wanted to thank Mitch for sending out the email regarding Governor Whitmer's bill investing in the outdoor recreation, which allows us to extend the exploration trail. And I was wondering if this is something that we should include in the agenda under informational or not. Not our press release per se, but we certainly have had a lot of agenda items over the years talking about this particular trail. It's been a very important topic for the community, and just wondering if we should share it.
I'm anticipating getting like a real letter that it's been fully funded and approved. So that was
Okay, got it.
that was my thought. It was then to include it, but, and I know
No,
Rick had said something about, yes, it was approved last fall, but as the state level, it's never really approved until they approve the funding for it. So
Well, it's usually signed.
this is the last step of, and the funding was actually approved. So it's real. Even if they say, well, you're going to get the grant, that doesn't mean that it'll happen until they obviously make the appropriation to make that happen. So that's what that bicameral or the bi-party bill took care of. So.
Okay, and then there was one other item, I guess. There was the Travis Sanitation. We need the board to approve that contract from switching from Sunrise. So that, I guess, is either an agenda addition or that could occur now with the amended one, or we can do Monday night. But right, that was the other follow-up thing, I guess, that we just went through.
Yeah, yes.
So I guess what's the thought? Amend it and put it on the agenda now, or we do it Monday night?
We could amend and put it on now.
If Tammy hasn't already done it.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, it's going to be a motion just saying that we're going to approve Travis Sanitation to do it for the same price that was quoted by Sunrise on the exact same day.
Okay.
I've already sold permits too.
Yes.
So we need that information in the packet as well, I guess, what that amount is.
Okay.
Please. Any other follow-up or additional information then from the meeting packet? Before we go to public comment? No, anyone?
Are
Bueller?
we adding that under other
What's that?
for the refuge? Superintendent.
Under the superintendent's report,
So it'll go as number 6.
number 6. I heard that through the wall.
Okay. Of course. I make a motion, we get some sound panels, insulation.
Oh, I can hear really far away.
My Lord. Okay.
All right, I can hear and I never forget, right? All right, so we're good with that. So are we ready for public comment? I think we have a couple public here. Anyone? No? Okay. And I'm just gonna unmute. We got a few. I guess if you are logged in and you can use the raise hand function, please do so. I have John Barta, Bob Taser, Greg Schultz. Do you have and then 248-505-1099. I'm going to hit ask to unmute. And I know there's a delay, so if you have a, give you a minute. 248-505-1009. You should, I think, no? Okay, and then there's 739-5729.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Hey, Brian.
Hey, yeah, Brian Haley, Isco. Hard to believe we're going to be revisiting FERTA again, but then I realized Mr. Dickerson wasn't here. Did anyone inform Mr. Dickerson how well that went? A while back when we were talking about putting some monstrosity building there, it wasn't just about the building. If you read in the recreation survey, and he has it, I'm sure people are pretty clear on that, but I guess you guys will hash that out. We're going to revisit all that again, huh? Really? That is something. That's not why I called. Concerning, that is strange though. That is strange. I think you guys should just make that decision. The heck with his recommendation. He's only been here a little more than a year. What does he really know about that
Oh,
critical?
All right,
property?
Brian, please.
Well, I got 4 minutes, right? Okay, so let's
You
get
do.
to nepotism.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm on it. All right, well, let's get to nepotism. All right, so you guys can set the board or set the bar as high or as low as you want. So then, from what I understand, the last board put in these protocols, which, there's nothing in law about that because the MTA guidelines are clear on this. So now we've got, let's see, the prior board, that'd be weed and all that. Put board protocols, you guys voted in according to the paper. Mr. Spencer wasn't even aware that it was in there, so unknowingly. All right, so now we're going to try to follow that board's protocols because you voted on it and you weren't aware of it or whatever, ambiguity. But if this is so important, because when we're talking about nepotism, what we're really talking about is favoritism, correct? Between family members. So I guess you could find some scenarios where, in this case, Jamie or John on two different entities, a board and a committee. But if that's a problem, then Mr. Worcesterbart should resign from the board because he's pushing for this, according to my take on the last meeting. So really, let's get down to morals then, right and wrong. The relative of right or wrong of an action. So you're looking to do an action, you want to force John out because of some perceived problem, which Jamie could always recuse herself if she needed to. She's smart enough. So this doesn't make any sense. So what you're looking to do is what? Just follow a rule that doesn't even have to be? Really? Is that what's going on here? Far more going on here than that. So anyway, you guys deal with it. And I got where you were going when I was talking earlier, but there's been far worse things done by the past board and current members of this board. So if I speak up about it, I'm going to keep speaking up about it. Okay, thanks, and good luck with it.
Okay, thank you, Brian. All right, I have a hand raised. Bob. I've just asked you to unmute.
Yep. Hello.
Hi, Bob.
Hi. Yeah, I would just like to, one question I do have is these letters of intent. Just because a letter of intent is offered, that doesn't mean that a decision has to, I mean, if it's a bad deal, it's a bad deal, right? I mean, we can turn down all letters of intent and hope for something better on a prime property, correct? I mean, well, you don't have to answer, but that's my first thing. My other thing is that, the properties of the township are owned by the taxpayers, not just the loudest people. If a proposal is offered, under being open to the public, shouldn't all of the public get to see what is being proposed? I mean, that was the whole talk here for the last few months about being open and fair and not hiding anything. So isn't that exactly what was said in the past? And my simple statement is that if the taxpayers own the properties and offers come in, shouldn't it at least be looked at and see what's being offered for those properties, to see for the development and future of our community, if it's a good deal or a bad deal? I mean, that's what we elect our officials to do, is to make those decisions for us and to hold public open meetings to help them make those decisions. So that's my comment. Now, I don't want to get into a big argument about what should be for sale and not for sale. I'm simply saying, if something's being offered, shouldn't it be at least shown to the taxpayers so that they can actually see and have input into the decision-making process that our elected officials are mandated to follow? I mean, they need advice from the people. Have public meetings and let's talk about what's being offered. So that's my comment.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, so 505-1009. I hit it a couple times. Must not have anything to ask. Greg, you don't have any questions? Okay, all right. With that, I would take a motion to adjourn, please.
So move.
All right,
Can't make a motion. You just.
all
adjourn.
right,
Oh, yeah.
all right. I don't want a
Yeah.
motion, sorry. We're just adjourning this thing. I'm doing it. See ya.
Do it.
Have a good weekend, everybody. See you Monday.
Yeah, you
Have a good
too. Thank-
weekend. Happy Mother's Day.
Yep,
Yeah, all you mothers.
yeah,
That's a joke, by the way.
I hear ya. All right, now I gotta find the record button off. There it is. Come on, you stupid